In the world of golf, where every stroke counts and the greens can be as unpredictable as the weather, there's a name that's been hitting across the fairways with style and precision: Scottie Scheffler. Lately, this guy has been on fire, tearing up courses with the kind of consistency that makes you think he's got golf balls with homing devices. He's number one in almost every category except for one: putting. His putting has been the Achilles heel in an otherwise armor-clad game. And in a spot where drive for show, putt for dough is the mantra, this was a problem. We say was because Scheffler recently made a change in his putting game that may have shifted the golfing outlook for many PGA players hoping to win from hopeful to unlikely. Today on Good Bogey Golf, we'll be diving into the details of this change, where it all started, and what this means for the rest of the field on the PGA Tour. And if you stick around until the end, we'll also cover the highlights from his most recent win at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Let's tee off. Now, Scottie, he's not your typical headline-grabbing sports star. He's a family man, the kind you'd imagine enjoying a quiet evening at home rather than painting the town red. His life off the course is as steady and uneventful as someone's 9-to-5 job. But when it comes to the course, the man shows out. Starting this season, he's at the top of the charts for birdie average, stroke gains tee to green, and approach the green. He's also top 10 for strokes gained off the tee, and not too shabby for strokes gained around the green, as he is still in the top 20 for that. And get this, he's leading the pack in scoring average at a cool 69.5. His stellar performance is largely thanks to his unusual but powerful golf swing. It's the type of swing that makes people think twice before trying to emulate it. Even Jon Rahm once stated, "You can't teach that, it's unteachable." And he's right. If you try to copy Scheffler's swing, you might just end up in the chiropractor's office and break an ankle at the same time. Yet somehow, to Scheffler, this swing is natural and has landed him the number one overall ranking thanks to its consistency. But then you hand him a putter and it's like we're looking at a completely different player. It's a head scratcher, really. With the putter in hand, he's down at 128th in stroke gain putting, losing about .407 strokes there. His putts per round sitting at 28.87, which puts him at 52nd. And don't get me started on his 3-putt avoidance. He's at 4.07%, ranking 134th. Now, when we're talking about making those crucial putts inside 10 feet, he's only hitting about 83.9% of them, which, believe it or not, places him at 157th. And from 4 feet out, he's making 80%, landing him at 143rd. So you see, it's like night and day. On the one hand, you've got this golfing star who can play like Tiger Woods from tee to green, and on the other, there's a struggle with the putter that puts him well below the average. So what does he do? He decides to take some uncanny advice from Rory McIlroy. While joining the CBS Sports telecast post-round, McIlroy was asked by Amanda Renner about any advice he'd have for Scheffler. McIlroy, no stranger to putting challenges himself, shared his journey. "I've certainly been through my fair share of putting woes over the years, and I finally feel like I've broken through and become a pretty consistent putter. For me, going to a mallet was a big change." He then talked about his long-standing commitment to the blade putter and how switching to a mallet offered more forgiveness and a greater margin for error. He finished by half-jokingly adding, "I'd love to see Scottie try a mallet, but selfishly for me, Scottie does everything else so well that he's given the rest of us a chance." McIlroy's off-the-cuff suggestion, delivered during a casual broadcast chat, unknowingly set the stage for a significant shift in Scheffler's game. It was a moment that highlighted the mutual respect among top golfers, and one that would lead to a notable transformation in Scheffler's approach to the greens. Initially, no one expected Scheffler to pull out a mallet putter anytime soon, but Scheffler wasted no time. At the Arnold Palmer Invitational, Scheffler debuted a new tailor-made Spider Tour putter, and the results were nothing short of remarkable. In the first round, he shot a 70, which wasn't quite what he was aiming for, but then man, did he catch fire over the weekend. The guy started Sunday by one-putting the first 2 greens, capping off this insane streak of 9 straight one-putts. And get this, he was nailing every putt within 15 feet. Then came the final day. He breezed through one of the only bogey-free rounds of the day at Bay Hill, which, by the way, he was playing tough as nails. The hardest course on the tour so far this season, Scheffler was the only top 5 player to break 70 that day, and he topped the best round by 2 shots. Even when his ball got stuck in the bunker on the tricky par 3 17th, Scheffler didn't sweat it. He just stepped up and blasted the ball to within 3 feet like it was nothing. But the real showstopper, that was on the 15th green. He sinks this massive 35-footer for birdie, opening up a 5-shot lead. Talk about a mic drop moment. And it's not his first rodeo at Arnie's place either. He bagged the win there back in 2022, right before he snagged his Masters title. Could we see another year where he wins a Masters? With that putter in hand, chances are pretty high. But what does Scheffler himself have to say about all this? Well, when asked about Rory McIlroy's advice to switch to a mallet putter, Scheffler had a bit of a chuckle. It was funny timing, he said. His coach, Randy, had already joked about making the switch, and then Rory chimed in during the broadcast at the Genesis Invitational. Scheffler took it in stride, acknowledging that what works for one player might not necessarily work for another. Yet, he was willing to give it a shot since he had tried it in the past. What really stood out this time was his willingness to stick with the game plan to get better. His first time using the mallet putter on Thursday didn't go as planned, yet he carried on anyway and improved every time he stepped on the greens. If he sticks with the mallet putter and manages to crack the top 10 in putting too, he'll unlock a level of playing we haven't seen since Tiger. We're not just talking about a few more trophies in his cabinet, we're talking about Scheffler potentially rewriting the leaderboard week in and week out. Now, I'm not one to jump on bandwagons too quickly, but let's consider the facts. At Bay Hill, Scheffler was sinking putts like a man possessed, ranking 5th in strokes gained putting. That's not just good, that's elite level putting. And for a guy who's already got the rest of his game dialed in, that's a scary thought for the rest of the PGA field. But we have to be cautious. Putting, as any golfer will tell you, can be fickle. One week you're rolling them in from everywhere, and the next, you can't buy a putt. The real test for Scheffler will be consistency. Can he maintain this level of putting under different conditions on different courses week after week? That is the million-dollar question. If Scheffler has truly turned a corner with his putting, we're looking at a new titan in the game, a guy who can drive, approach, and now putt with the best of them. That's a recipe for a lot of wins, maybe even a few majors. The next few tournaments will be crucial in showing whether this improvement is a new baseline or just a happy blip on the radar. Alright, that's a wrap on our golf talk today. We've had a good look at Scottie Scheffler's game, his big switch up, and what it may mean for the greens and the guys he's up against. If you enjoyed this video, why not give that subscribe button a little nudge? It's easier than sinking a 3-footer. And hey, share this round with your golf crew. They'll thank you for the tip-off. Until we tee for another round of golf talk, keep your swing smooth and your putts on point. I'll catch you in the next video.